Let's just really get into it. Am I racist? I'm embarrassed to say this wasn't my plan. God healed me. You guys be the judge. Was I wrong? Have you ever been in this position before? It's crazy that some of my favorite people in the world are identical to the men that I once feared. Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Kaelyn Ryan, and I'm back again with another video. Guys, before the video continues, I want you to know that I am not racist, that I truly love everyone, that I believe that I am just as imperfect as you are, that I believe that we are only going to sharpen each other with our honesty and with the testimony of our true experiences. So as you begin watching this video, do know that I absolutely love everyone that I'm about to talk about. I am only giving you my experience and how God has truly blessed me and healed my heart so that I could arrive here today with men and people that I once was a little iffy about. You know what I mean? So if you can see yourself in my story, this video is for you. And I just want you to hear my journey of how I got to this point. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I am an entertainment broadcast journalist who loves Jesus Christ. I absolutely adore Jesus Christ. That's just what it is. That's what it forever will be. Before this video continues, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you need any website or graphic designs, bubbly.com is the one-stop shop for you for all your marketing needs, from pamphlets to flyers to billboards to just reconfiguring everything about your business. If you want to go from drab to fab, bubbly.com is the place for you. Tell them that Kaelyn sent you. Lastly, you guys, don't forget to shop ogcla.com. OGCLA is a beautiful fashion brand that I've been the brand ambassador of for some years now. I'm wearing one of the pieces right now. You can see. You see it. You can look good too if you shop with ogcla.com. It's the holiday season. It's time to give back. If you want to give somebody a gift card or one of these beautiful pieces for your wife, mother, sister, daughter, be sure to do so. Don't let this moment pass you by. Use my discount codes down below, and don't forget to shop ogcla.com. All right, y'all. So it's just a good story time. So let's get into it. Let's really just get to the story. All right, y'all. So as you can see by the title, you know what I'm about to discuss. My journey begins in this part of my life around 8 years old or so. I was standing outside down the street. My family's packing the car. We're about to do a whole swim day. I remember I'm like ready. I'm about to swim wherever we were going. I'm excited. I'm standing there as a kid, just waiting for my parents to do whatever they were doing. And I look up, and there were men from an auto shop looking at me. The crime isn't the looking. The crime isn't anything. Mind you, I'm a little girl. I'm not processing anything in particular. But then they start to make gestures, certain facial expressions, certain things with their mouth. Like with a lustful look in their eyes. And it was like two of them. And I remember sitting there feeling like uncomfortable. And that was like the first time that I experienced that. You know what I mean? As I got older and I went to high school and middle school and things of that nature, I experienced it from men in general. But in this case, it was men of Mexican heritage, Latin descent, whatever have you. Okay? So I remember that moment, and it stuck with me. Then I move on through life. It's now high school. We're about to take the bus, which we literally never did. My parents' schedule shifted around the last few years of high school for my sister and I, and it worked more conveniently for them, for my sister and I, to catch the bus to school so that they can do what they had to do. No problem. Was a little nervous because we just hadn't done it before, but we can do it, and I had my sister with me. So now we're standing at the bus stop right down there, and again, I'm standing there minding my business and waiting on the bus with my sister, and it was about 6 of them, again, men that resembled the 2 men from years past, looking, saying, shouting, whistling, gesturing, posturing, suggesting certain things. to your imagination, you could fill it in. And I remember just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like this is just, mind you, I'm still a young girl. Okay. So I'm like, why in the world are they being so sexual? I didn't have verbiage or language for it at the time, but in my mind, I'm like, why are they just, what is this? What is this? Like, why do they keep doing this? And that's where that comes in. Why do they keep doing this? Why do we all do that? Why do black people always do this? Why do white people do this all the time? Why do Asians do it all the time? We all have a thing that we wonder why they do it all the time. So you feel me? This is what I was experiencing at that moment. And I remember just throughout those like short weeks of us having to ride the bus, it was an every morning occurrence of just harassment at the bus stop by men who just couldn't see two young girls going to school, but they saw it as an opportunity to either one, just make them uncomfortable, get a rise out of us, or to literally let us know like what their intentions are. And if we play into it even in the slightest, they're ready when we are. So that sucked, but you move on. You go to school, you live life. I then get my first job, and I worked at a beauty supply, and I sold products, and I sold the wigs in the back, and yeah, that was my first job. And I'm cool with the staff, all men, all male managers, Latin descent or Mexican. One was Mexican, two were Chinese, and that was the staff, and then it was me. So, and everything was all fine and dandy until one day I'm stocking the shelves as usual, and I'm alone in the beauty supply with this gentleman who I was often on the clock with all the time. He's always proven to be a sweetheart. And he then called for me. So I remember looking up like, oh yes, and then I said his name afterwards. And I remember him winking at me and kissing at me and then doing it again. And I remember like sitting there looking like, no, like you've been my friend, you've never made me feel that way, like you've never made me feel like you were trying to like. And it's just us two in there. And mind you, I'm in high school, I'm still a young lady, so I'm still sitting there like, oh my gosh. And he's like, he did whatever he did. And I remember being so taken back. I remember going to the back where the wigs were and just staying there the rest of my shift, saying very close to nothing the rest of the night, and not really acknowledging him after that, because it reminded me of those other encounters with men that resembled him. And mind you, he truly was a sweetheart. Two things can exist at the same time. He was a good coworker. I was so much younger than him, but he was a good coworker, and kind. But there was a moment where he made a pass at me, and it was just he and I in the beauty supply. So I remember being so nervous and scared for my safety, because I'm like, anything could go down right now. I don't know. So I just remember that as well. So as you guys are recognizing, there's a pattern of repeated encounters with people that kind of look the same that made me feel a certain way. This comes into play later on. So now I'm out and about, I'm living life, I'm getting older, and I feel like it's unnecessary to say that I was developing or whatever have you, because you could be shaped like nothing and it still doesn't stop a man from doing, saying, or attempting, whether they're just being polite and admiring your beauty or whether they're trying to take something from you. You know what I mean? But I was developing and things of that nature, and I continued to have these same interactions with these men. And I remember being like, And you don't want to know what's so sad is I'm sure I had a lot of good interactions in between that with men that resembled them. But my view and scope of them was so sullied that I began to fear them, because in my mind, I'm not safe around them based off of my previous experiences. I feel like we all go into protective mode. So the best way to protect yourself is to assess past behavior, see the pattern, and choose to do different in the future so that you don't end up in that same position or harmed at some point. And that's with anything in life. So what did I do? I put my guard up Anytime I saw men that resembled a Mexican man, I was nervous. It just was what it was, because the taunting and the this and the third and the sexual looks and the this and the that, it just continued to intensify as I got older. And it was just like, okay, this is just how they are. I don't know. This is just how they are, and I'm scared. Yeah. So that was that. Then, y'all, I get to working at the restaurant that I've been at for 3 years now. So upon the first day, I'm introduced to the team. I'm told, okay, this is your station. This is where you stand. This is not only your trainer for the day, but this is the whole entire kitchen staff. Get familiar with them. This is where you'll be. A room full of men that are primarily Mexican, from the trainer to all the chefs. All of them. Just all of them. Literally. All of them. Yeah. And I remember sitting there like, oh my gosh. Like, just like, okay, I'm doing my best to try and avoid a certain feeling that I feel like I get around a certain type of people. And now I feel like I'm in the epicenter of it as the one girl, the only black girl. And I'm in a room full of people that resemble those that have made me feel away in past. So I remember sitting there like, oh my gosh. So y'all, I'm nervous. I'm in my head, but I'm still a kind, loving person though. So I remember like introducing myself to a few, because I'm working with them every night. I'm closing from 4 p.m. to like 2 a.m. Like, I'm there all night. So I'm like, okay. And again, men can be men regardless of race or nationality. But some were just really kind, and some, were a little, But I remember I was just like on guard. I was on guard. If you looked at me too long, if you followed behind me, if I'm going to dry storage and I'm walking by myself and I didn't notice you were behind me, and now you're just coming behind me too, I'm like, I was just always on guard, like just like nervous, extremely nervous. It's like the true person and the true heart that I have. I love people. I absolutely love people, but I couldn't shake this like fear that I had developed, whether it was conflated, valid, or just like all imaginary. Regardless, it was my true experience and how I was feeling in the moment, regardless of how I got there. And to make matters worse, I remember seeing one in particular, and I'm like smiling and saying hi to each one, like, hey, trying to fight my demons, trying not to like make everybody out to be a villain when they haven't done anything yet. You can't judge people just because they look like a certain type of person that did the thing to you. I was trying my best. And then what happened, y'all? I was sexually harassed for a little over a year by the lead cook. So I'm like, look at this. See, I tried to be nice. I tried to forgive. I tried to see them differently. And look, I'm hiding in the bathroom. I'm crying. I'm being followed. He's doing certain things. I don't even want to go into the details. He made my life hell. You know what I mean? At that job, I was fearful. I didn't speak up. I didn't say anything. I didn't want my parents upset or concerned, because I have to go to this job every day. I don't want my dad now on guard coming in and doing something and harming someone because he's making his baby girl feel uncomfortable, or he's doing certain things that I just wouldn't wish to relay to my dad just for his peace of mind. You get what I mean? So, and it just got really bad. The person who, without my knowledge prior, had an extensive report of sexual assault cases on hand, but conveniently it was wiped from his record, allegedly because he blackmailed the previous GM. I was the first like report on file, and I remember being like, this with this type of behavior, how am I the first one? And this is after like a year and a half. Like I said, y'all, I'm freaking out. I find solace and peace in one of the lead chefs, and I'm like, I type it out in Google Translate because his English is pretty good, but I just wanted him to really, really understand me. So I typed it up and I showed him, and he was so sweet. And most of them, mind you, are super sweet. They're great people. But at the time I was like, didn't know who to trust. And showed him, and he was like, you need to tell. This is what you need to do. This is not his first time. Blah, 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 blah. Keep me updated. And I remember feeling like, okay, somebody sees me. I'm not just this girl that's in a sea of men at nighttime, closing shifts, hearing things, and it just was, I'm not alone. Okay. So that was sweet. And I still didn't say anything at first. And then one day I just couldn't fake it. Like, I was on the clock and I was like trying to fight back tears, because I was just so stressed out with knowing how the rest of the night was going to go based off of how he treated me every shift. Yeah. So sorry, just thinking back on it, and so sorry. Then a former manager who used to work there noticed and was like, hey, you good? And I just, at that moment, it was like, okay, and we cry. So I just began crying, and they were like, get into the office. Like, what's wrong? And one of my favorite managers, he was in there at the moment as well. And I just finally just divulged everything and said it all. Like, this is what happens when I do this. When I go to this side of the restaurant, this is what happens. He follows me here. He says this, he postures this, he gestures that, he almost does this. And I just like couldn't. I just couldn't. And yeah, I just couldn't. And yeah, because as a woman, you want to be mindful of when you use that card. You don't want to be judged. You don't want it to then flip on you like, oh, you were the one baiting him. You were the one making him love you. No, you were saying that. Like, you don't want that flipping on you. Or you don't want to read into something too tough, and that wasn't the man's intention, and now his livelihood, his career, and everything is now freaking blowing up in his face because of something I said, because I'm a woman and you should trust what I say. Like, that's not fair either. And then I was just scared. Like, what if he don't get fired and he knows that I said something about him, and now it's just awkward? Like, what? Like, what is he gonna do? And then what am I gonna have to do in return? And then who's picking me up from the police station? Because I was at that point, I was just like, yeah, bet, it's a wrap now. Like, I've done said it. If something happens after this, it's a wrap. Whatever that meant to me at the moment. So, yeah, I told, and praise God. Mind you, I didn't think they weren't gonna believe me, but they have certain protocol, and my manager loves me and knows me not to be a liar. Yeah. So he was suspended pending investigation, and those 2 weeks of him being gone was such peace for me. I was like, yes, I don't have to walk in here and worry about this. I don't have to see him. Everything's good. Investigation goes on. I don't tell any of the other chefs because a lot of them really start to care about me. They're my friends and they're sweethearts. And I didn't want them now scared that they couldn't talk to me as if I was going to then report them. I was just like, y'all, it's truly the one that's literally doing X, Y, and Z towards me, at me, behind me, everything. Like, that's what, it's not y'all. So I was healing at that moment. I can see from now, I was healing. But yeah, and a few of them slowly but surely would start to tell me, like, I know what happened. I'm glad you spoke up. I'm glad you told. He does this a lot. He's crazy. He's not a good guy. Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay, because I didn't want you guys to think that I was just here to, like, you know. Then his suspension is up. That man came back. I said, but it was under the guise that he no longer speaks to me, addresses me, is anywhere near me for any reason. So if he needed something on the side of the, like, food station where I was at, but I was already there, he couldn't come until I left already. There was no direct speaking to me. He had to relay the message to someone else. They had to tell it to me. There was just nothing to say. I was like, this works for me. Management was put up on game. Certain chefs knew that I already didn't like him. They was already put up on game, and they had a liking towards me. They saw me as, you know, they saw me as their daughter. A lot of them were like my dad's age or older. Like, they started to take me under their wing in that sense. And yeah, no, when he got back, they weren't feeling it. They were watching everywhere that he walked as well. And it was just like, wow, thank you, Lord. Should I have spoken up way sooner? Absolutely. But as a woman, if you know, you know. It's a fine line between, it's just a fine line. And I should have spoken up sooner, but I don't know, whatever. So yeah, then that man is back working, and now we got our new flow. I'm bold. I'm emboldened at that point. I ain't worried about bro. I ain't seeing him. I don't see him. I don't see him. I don't see him. I don't care. I don't care what you doing, where you going, what you doing. If you walking in that room, I need to get in that room too. I'm going to. I'm no longer walking around scared and afraid. If I need something, if you messed up on an order, I'm never disrespectful, But I'm very stern and to the point with it, and just easily grabbing a manager and expressing what exactly it is, because we all know what it is. We know he harassed me. So can y'all relay the message to bro that he messed up on this order for the 5th time today? Because he's going to think it's really the guest complaints. It's not me. But yeah, he messed up again. Him. So yeah, nobody was scared of that man. You in the deep freezer? I need something. I'm coming too. I don't care. When I finally decided to give it over to God, I was no longer crippled by fear. I was moving with confidence, and I was just like working my shift without hiding and being fearful. And that's all I wanted to do, was just be a person that can navigate the workspace like everybody else, regardless of me being a woman or me being a man. Shout out to my mom, because mind you, again, I didn't want to tell my dad because I didn't want him in a situation. You know what I mean? So my dad would have been way more instrumental had I included him more. So that's the only reason why I'm talking about my mom more in this instance. But shout out to my mom, because she was there for me, comforted me, checked on me when I finally told her, like around the time when I told the restaurant. So it was like a year into it or whatever. When I finally told her, and after comforting and being the mom and everything, she tapped into being the woman of God that she is, and she challenged me, and she was like, baby, see this, look this in the face, and speak against it, and pray and decree certain things that you need at your job, from your job, the peace of God, the love of God, the life of God, the life of God at this job. You need to declare it and stop being a victim. And she wasn't calling me a victim as if I had caused this to happen to me, but more so like, you're taking this lying down. You're just allowing it to happen. You're just allowing your mood to be changed. You're allowing the fear to consume your whole entire day. When do you take control and fight back with the word of God, which is sharper than any two-edged sword? When do you take control and take command and stand in confidence with what God has already instilled inside of you? Greater is he that is within you than he that is in the world. Okay? Exodus. God will fight my battles. Where was all that? So my mom checked me on that. I'm like, you're right. My bad. So on top of already like just asserting my my rights at work by reporting the guy, my mom also reminded me, spiritually, you need to stop running from this. If you truly feel in danger, like something's about to go down, that's one thing. But baby, you need to like look this in the eye, because it's not going to be the only job. You leave this job, you're just going to be a manager at another job. It's going to be a coworker at the next one. It's going to be a next person at the news station. It's going to be another person at the, like, when do you buckle down and look evil in its eye and speak against it and do all that you can before running away? You know what I mean? So shout out to mom. And yeah, she don't play. So yeah, I got emboldened in that way as well. And yeah, y'all, so he was back for a little while. He was back. And then this man, I'm like, dang, they can't fire him for nothing, because he allegedly blackmailed the previous GM and his record is clean. And I'm the only report on file. So, blah, blah, blah. All right, bet. Child, he sexually harassed another staff member, and a man at that. Apparently touched or grabbed his butt. The guy said, hey, I don't do all that. He then responded like, it's your word against mine. If you report me, you're going to be the one that got fired, blah, blah, blah. Like basically challenged him like, I can do and touch and say whatever I want. I'm telling you, this guy was crazy, y'all. So he doing that to another man. So yeah, one day I walk in, I see him and like other managers over there at a table. And I'm just like, oh, I pray this man is getting fired. I didn't even know the nature of the discussion. I didn't even know that backstory at the time. I'm just talking to myself, but I had already released it. I'm making my drinks for my table. And then the news got back to me that was basically his last time in the restaurant. I said, hallelujah, you're fired. I couldn't do it without God. Like, you thought you got away with it, buddy? Oh, newsflash, bucko, you got caught because you thought you was slick. And that man said, no, I'm going to tell. And that was their last straw. They said, no, you just too much of a freaky deaky at this job. You have to go. So praise God, he's gone. Praise God, he's gone. That was another moment where the enemy could have used or tried to use my previous fear of those type of interactions with certain kind of men to reignite it and be like, see, look, Look, here they go again. Here's another one that's doing it. Here's the same type of man that did it to you when you were doing it again. Blah, blah, blah. But God is so good, and I was actively trying to heal that side of me because I never was raised by judging everyone by the actions of one. I was not raised that way. It was just fear. It just kept getting worse and worse for me, and that's just how my mind started to get. But yeah, I love my kitchen staff, full of Mexican, Latin, men from all sides. I love them and they love me. Those are my guys. Those are really my guys. Like, I'd do anything for them and they do anything for me. Like, I really, really rock with my guys, my chefs. And it's crazy that some of my favorite people in the world are identical to the men that I once feared. It's not unique because it's just how God works. Like, the very thing that you think that you're avoiding or that you're just gonna stay away from because of X, Y, and Z is the very thing that God throws you into so that you can heal that, face that, deal with that, and then learn to love differently on the other side of it. So I want to ask you guys, are people wrong for being prejudiced? Are people wrong for casting judgment based off of repeated actions from a certain group of people? If you're a white person and you see that the Asians in the community are constantly robbing and looting, breaking down homes, tearing down valuable properties, and stealing all your memorabilia, your valuables, and you see that, that's all you're seeing, and you're like, dang it. When you come across a group, when you're walking by yourself, are you now wrong as a white woman to see the Asian group walking towards you and then be stuck with fear? I don't think you are. We only can move based off of what we've seen. I know you didn't ask for that prejudice. You didn't ask, let me start judging this class of people a certain way and just put them in a category to where now I'm fearful. No, you saw or you experienced things repeatedly. And this is the result of it. Okay? Or if you're a black person, all right, and you know how certain white people, Karens, get a bad rep because they tend to look for problems when they're not there, assert authority when they have none, or just give opinions when they're unwarranted. You get what I mean? If you experience that as a black person repeatedly, like just a white person, male or female, just constantly cutting you down, making you feel less than, saying certain things, calling the police on you when you're in front of your own house, calling the cops on you when you're checking your own mailbox, doing certain things, trailing you through the neighborhood because they don't know where you live and they've never seen you around these parts before. They've never seen you here. You need to prove that you live here. Okay? Because there's no way that me and you were in the same space. Okay. And now when you're out and about and the same look approaches you, are you wrong for then instantly judging or having some pushback to the person that resembles those that made you feel away? I don't think you're wrong. If you're a Mexican man and all you've experienced is a black girl who's just reckless with her mouth, doesn't know how to articulate, scandalous, strange, disrespectful, rowdy, I don't know. If that's all you've experienced, and then you see me and I walk up as your server, or I walk up to interview you, and all you know is a black girl to be these traits. That's all you've seen. Every time you meet one out at the grocery store, at the market, at the courthouse, at the hospital, everyone you meet from professional to student, every last encounter with a black girl was kind of like, dang, they just always seem to be angry or loud. And then you meet me and you judging me. You treating me funny. You're not giving me much eye contact when I'm serving you. You're already assuming I'm going to be this way, that way, or the next way. You're already assuming that. Are you wrong for that? I don't think so. I think we have to give each other grace, and we have to take ownership and responsibility of the roles that we or our people within our race and nationality play in the narrative that we have to fight on a daily. There's a shadow side to everything. I know the excellent, superb, articulate, beautiful, classy, happy, wealthy, God-fearing, kind, lovely, hilarious, beautiful Black people that respect each other and others. I know all those Black people. That's my family. That's a lot of people that I know. I know it to be true. But then I do know the shadow side, and I know there's a side of us where we're not as kind. We're not thoughtful. We're not respectful. We don't present ourselves in the best light. And we're just not there's just a certain look, a certain behavior. When you see it coming, you know what's going on. So I know this as a Black woman. So I'm not going to sit there and be like, how dare they judge that group of Black teens that walked in with their pants all the way down to their ankles, reeking of marijuana and playing loud music and speaker and cussing and using profane language in a classy restaurant, talking about their sexual exploits the night before. How dare this white woman assume that these young kids are going to cause trouble? What about them is giving that they're about to cause trouble? Girl, everything about them gives that this is about to be a hot mess. Okay. Like, that's the only way to protect yourself, is to look at past behavior, is to look at repeated patterns and to judge accordingly so that you can navigate things a certain way. So I don't get mad. When I hear people judging certain things. I'm like, child, I'm judging it too. I don't want to be near them. I do not want to be near them. We share the same color, but we don't share the same walk. Something's a little different about them. I'd be scared too. You're okay, Susan. You're okay, Barbara. I'm scared too. Let's leave. Like, if you know as a white woman that y'all have a bad rep for being Karens and just being annoying and a hot mess and just lying and racist and this and that, if you know that certain women that look like you had given y'all a bad rep, are you now surprised when other demographics see you and wonder, uh-oh, here goes another one? No, you should be like, hey guys, look, I'm not a cop.
I've never done anything like this before.
Okay, calm down. Look, I'm not a cop.
I know what this looks like. I know what my people be doing. And I think it's annoying as well. Okay? I'm not going to be fake ally and act like I don't see color and blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to respect that you guys may feel a way about me based off of what people that look like me have done repeatedly. All I can do is show you who I am and that I'm not like them. If you would give me that moment to show that to you. You know what I'm saying? If you work at a convenience store and all you know is that Mexican kids steal, all they do is steal. All they're doing is stealing from the candy store or the liquor store. And you own a liquor store and you've been hit like 6 times that week by a Mexican child. By the 10th time that a Mexican child walks in that week, you're gonna sit there, follow them around maybe, turn your cameras to the corner that they're in, maybe have the emergency alarm ready for you to press under your counter, and you're on guard. Did you choose to be that way, or did people that look like them repeatedly do something that pushed you to that point where you feel like you have to protect yourself or your business? I don't know. I just feel like we all have to take responsibility for those that are around us that paints a picture that is less than favorable, something that we wouldn't intentionally do. I would never come across a certain way on purpose, like the stereotypes of my people. But I do know that the stereotypes exist. Therefore, I almost have to work even harder to prove I'm not that. This isn't that. I'm not about to steal. You can follow me around this store. We can hold hands. I probably have more money than you. I probably make more money than you. But you just see my skin color. You don't know that I'm a woman of God and that I'm led by the word of God and that I believe in being honest and being generous and not stealing and not taking, because I don't want to sow those seeds into the ground, and I don't want the enemy to even have a foothold into my life because I opened up the door by stealing from someone else. You don't know all that when you see me. You just see a black girl. You just see a black girl. And maybe those last black girls cut up, cursed you out, told you your toupee looked weird, read you down. And I'm sorry on behalf of them. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. But don't call the cops on me. Don't call the cops on me. Give me a chance. How about giving me a chance? So I just feel like we all have to give each other chances. We have to, one, understand everybody's looking at each other through a lens and a narrative that they're watching on TV, seeing in real life, seeing on the news. But we also need to take personal responsibility and recognize that everyone isn't the way the one is or the way that group was. You get what I mean? It's a delicate dance. It's a delicate dance because you have to protect yourself. And if you see something that looks similar, you're not going to put yourself in that position to be hurt, but then you may be closing the door to an opportunity or experience that is totally on the opposite end of it, that was truly sent to bless you. You know what I mean? So I don't get mad when I'm at the restaurant and I'm serving, and specifically older white gentlemen talk down or look at me in a certain way. 90% of the people that I serve, fantastic. But there's that 10% where it's like, oh yeah, I guess I am the black girl. Oh yeah. Or I guess I am curvaceous. What does that mean? Oh, I guess my hair is long. Is it yours? Is it mine? Are they going to ask me questions? Uh-oh, I have braids. What is that going to mean? Uh-oh, they saw Shaquita last night walking down the block with a baby stroller with sandals on and a crop top and a bonnet on. And she had pink nail polish. Uh-oh, today I have pink nail polish. So am I now Shaquita from down the block? It's just like people cross-reference things all the time. They pull one little thing like, oh, well, she had the same pink nails as Shaquita, so she might be up to no good as well. She might be on welfare. She might be. Have your parents, do you know about education? I mean, I'm not saying I give people like total passes for just being ignorant, rude, judgmental, racist, you know what I'm saying? But I do understand that all of us are speaking from a position of what we know or what we've seen. Some people you can tell it's just hate, like you're just a hateful person. And for others, you can tell like this is truly what they think. This is truly what they think. They think this and they're this is how they are. So it's like, yeah, just extend grace. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about this topic? Was I wrong? Have you been in my shoes before? Do you judge a certain class of people? Do you judge a certain demographic? Do you judge a certain generation based off of how others may act? Do you judge a certain political group all the same because of your experience with a few? Like, what do you do that you unintentionally don't recognize is prejudice or divisive? I feel like we all do. We all do it. It is what it is. All we can do is try and be better for the next time and to give everybody a fresh start. I know it's hard. But if you want to live this life blessed, if you don't want to block your blessings, if I would have stayed closed off, I would have missed out on all the remarkable relationships I have with my chefs. I love my chefs. All of them. I love them all. And whatever assumption they had about a girl that looks like me, acts like me, doesn't act like me, whatever, I'm sure I've debunked that over the years as well. We're all looking at each other a little like, okay, I see, you get a pass. Like we all doing it. So let's just cut each other some slack and let's take responsibility for what our demographic is promoting. They see Sexy Red and they see a music video and then I'm their server. I don't see the direct correlation, but For those outside the club, we look exactly alike. We are freaking twins at this point. So it's like, uh-oh. And now I'm like, I can only do so much. I'm not about to tap dance for you and perform and show you I'm a good girl and I'm not ghetto. And I'm not about to do all that. I'm not. But I'm going to express myself the way I know to. And I'm going to hope that you give me that same respect the way that I'm not judging you for how I feel your people be acting. You know what I'm saying? We're all called to love each other. We are all called to love each other. So I thank you for staying to the end of this video. This was my story time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Let me know how you feel. And again, I stress and express that I absolutely love all my chefs. I absolutely love Mexican men. I absolutely love all men. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to judge men just off of my experiences with the perverted ones. I want to judge them based off of my experience. And yeah, I went to get my freaking tire plugged and pulled up to the same auto shop where when I was 8 years old, and those first two gentlemen is what started this whole thing. Ironically, pulled up to that one at this grown age and needed my tire thing and went back several times throughout the week. And he looked similar to the chefs at my job, so my heart warmed up. His name is Tony. I'm like, hey, Tony, good morning. Yes, it has no air in it. It's about to explode. What can we do about this tire? And I'm so comfortable around him because I've let my guard down and I've allowed myself to see the beauty in those people without just judging them from my few sad experiences. You get what I'm saying? And Tony, he see me, he know me. I know my hair be changing. He don't be recognizing me off the top, but he be like, oh, Kaelyn. Like, hey, Tony, what can we do? Fix this tire. How's your day? How's your family? Because I see them differently now. So allow people that time to learn and unlearn. You know what I mean? I'm sure people thought of me one way, and now when they see me, it's like, what's up, Kay? I don't know what they undid or what demons they fought or what prejudice they pushed back on or what ideals they previously had. I don't know. I just know that now they're happy to see me. And I'm happy that they gave me a second chance, regardless of what the mass media is pushing about girls that look like me. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to be involved in more thought-provoking conversations such as this one, by liking this video, by commenting on this video, and subscribing. Remember that Jesus Christ absolutely loves you. He adores you. He's chasing after you every day, and he cannot wait for you to say yes so that he can bless your heart and heal your heart the way he healed mine. Okay? The way he healed mine. God is just too good. This life is to be lived together with everybody within community, and prejudice, racist, divisive ideologies is what the enemy would love for us to stay stuck in, so that we stay with those that look like us and they stay over there. But that's not how God meant for this to be. He did not make us uniquely different for us to now run because of the differences. He made us uniquely different so that we can learn from each other, lean on each other, and love each other. You feel me? I've been your favorite journalist, Kaelyn Ryan. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.